Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans, and we have episode 17 of the Canadian Football Central podcast. And yesterday we had Alouettes receiver Hakeem Harris on, and today we have defensive back Lorenzo Burns. Lorenzo, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Yes, we it's funny. We just had a very in-depth conversation about weather before starting this. About how stupid cold it gets here in Winnipeg more than anything.
Right.
Which is we're already starting to get that. And but yeah, so thank you to anyone tuning in here. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video and subscribe, and anyone on Spotify, if you guys could leave us 5 stars, we'd very much appreciate that. And also a shout out to Alouette Central on Instagram for up-to-date news on the Montreal Alouettes. They're kind of some of the first to have it out there, as well as Alouette's Flight Deck. Good friends of the channel. They do good work there. But I think we will get started here. And so just to kind of, so people can learn a bit about you and kind of your experience with football. What was your experience playing sports growing up, whether that's football or not? What got you into football up until, I'd say, maybe the end of high school?
Well, growing up, I grew up in a very family or sports-oriented football or oriented household. My dad is a football coach, if a lot of people don't know. And then he also played college football. And his dad played football at some point in time. So football is in my bloodline.
Oh,
my
yeah.
mom, she was an athlete growing up. So all of my siblings and myself, we all played sports growing up. But particularly football, my dad grew up playing football, was a great athlete. He actually went to school, I'm not trying to get it wrong, but I think the 80s, 70s, with like Junior Seau, Todd Marinovich. He played USC, University of Southern California. And from there, he got an injury which shut down his career, and he was a football coach ever since. So on top of that, when we were born, he took the legacy and, put it on to us. We played football since I can remember, since out the womb, if I could be honest with you. When we were kids, we used to put fake football helmets on. My brother and I played with each other, even take my sister when she got old enough and rough her up. But started with flag football, traveled all across the world. My dad coached college football, so he just gave us, the ins and outs between, being great, being average, what to do, what not to do, how to be successful. And we started around, I think my first organized football team was around 5, 6,
Wow.
not 6, 6.
So
Flag
really
football.
young.
And then from there, it was tackle. So that pretty much carried throughout until I'm, here in this point. And the same thing with my brother. So it's been it's been in our blood since birth.
Absolutely. So were there other sports that you were like, what other sports were you kind of interested besides football, just kind of growing up before football was really, obviously I know football was probably, from what it sounds like, was kind of the main driver kind of the whole way through over the course of your young life. But were there other sports that you kind of considered for a bit here? Or?
All of my siblings, we all played 3 sports growing up. I wish I would have stuck with baseball.
Oh, yeah?
A lot more than what I did. I was a baseball player. I played basketball, baseball. I ran track in high school. But I thought I can do all 3. That was my dream, to do all 3 when I grew up and become a professional in all 3. Of course, I don't got the height for it. So basketball was out the window. Baseball, the reason why I stopped playing baseball was because it was too slow for me. I played center field, but it was just way too slow. And if you have a good pitcher, you don't really have a lot of action going your way.
It's a very
and then I took some
patient
time
game.
off. Very patient game. Patient game. And then if you're not very good at batting, which I took a break and I tried to come back, it's not fun at all. Striking out is hard. But I would say it was basketball and track where I really put an emphasis on outside of football.
Nice. And so, Rick.
I was just gonna say about the whole multi-sport thing. Don't forget, my MJ played baseball for the White Sox, if I'm not mistaken, and basketball. So I mean, there's athletes out there, that can.
The door's not fully closed, my friend.
No.
Hey, you might see me doing a little bit of golf here shortly. We'll see.
There you go. Well, it's funny because I remember because here in Winnipeg we have probably I'd say one of the biggest like sports teams in Winnipeg, either the biggest or the second biggest, depending on who you're talking to, would be the Winnipeg Jets in the NHL. And we had a player just a few years ago, a player named Dustin Byfuglien, who retired from the Jets in probably the strangest way, where he didn't come out with this formal announcement. He just went to the Jets and said, "Hey, I'm not playing this year. I'm going to go fishing instead." And now he's like a competitive fisherman. That's what he does. And this is a guy that used to get into scrums in hockey and beat the snot out of guys because he was a big defenseman who threw his weight around unlike almost anyone you'd ever seen. He was just, wow. I still remember we played Vegas. He grabbed two different guys and just out of a pile and had both of them, and he was basically crashing them together like a monkey with cymbals. How big is Byfuglien?
Yeah.
Oh, he was big. Let me see here.
Give me 1 second. I got it. He was.
That takes a big man to do that.
He was 6'5", 260.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was 6'5", but he was like a big 6'5". He wasn't skinny at all.
Yeah.
But yeah. But no, and so now with football, did you always play DB, or were there kind of some other positions that you bounced around? Just because I know, at least from when I played football, even just in high school, a lot of players, in terms of the positions they play, it's kind of coaches like, you know what, I think you could do well with this. We're going to throw you here, and then you get some reps and they see how it goes.
I played everything, to be honest with you. Growing up, I played everything from quarterback, linebacker, safety, of course, corner, running back, defensive end. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I played everything. But when I got to high school, when I started getting more serious about it, I really wanted to become a receiver. I had offers to go to college at receiver from a couple of schools like Washington, Cal, Colorado. And then I was just told you'll be better at DB. So I just stuck with DB. And of course, my dad being a defensive-minded person and playing defensive back in college, you know, that took a part in it too. So
yeah. So kind of moving then towards your college years, how was college at the University of Arizona?
You know what? It's a great school. I'll tell anybody. Yeah, if you want to experience a great time in college, go to Arizona. Any school, particularly U of A, but any school in Arizona is a great time. Football wise, it had its ups and downs. It was a great experience though, but it had its ups and downs because there were times when we were winning. I don't know how in tune y'all are with college football, but at one point in time we had a Heisman candidate on my team, Khalil Tate. He was up for the Heisman. My running back, who I'm best friends with, he was up for the Doak Campbell Award. And then our defense was all pretty much young. The year we were ranked one year, and that year we were all pretty young. We were up for a Pac-12 championship, Southern championship, and then after that, you know, just started to slowly trickle downhill. So you know, it had its lows, and I had to push through those lows, but it made me who I am today, my professional career. So, but I did enjoy it. You know, great school, great place to be, great weather. Besides the summer, it's a little hot in the summer. You know,
a little hot in the summer, yeah.
I'd rather be hot than cold, but a great place to be. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Now, one question I do have before we actually get to our next one, just because I've started recently kind of getting watching a bit more college football. Like it's not something that for a while, but it was the other Arizona school, the Sun Devils. They had a game, I want to say recently, in like the past couple of weeks. It was a huge win that they had got. I remember seeing whoever their quarterback was basically make a amazing fourth down play from his knees that he got that ball out. I'm not sure if you saw that game. It was really crazy, but
I've probably seen highlights of it.
Yeah, I think you probably.
It's hard for me to watch them though. I strongly dislike them. It's hard for me to watch them.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I'm U of A and they ASU. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big rival. Yeah,
absolutely. Here, Rick, I think you had the next one here.
Yeah. So what's your best college memory, one football related and one non-football related?
What's my best college memory? Actually, my best football memory was we were playing Oregon. We were playing Oregon. And they were ranked maybe 13th in the nation, 11th, around there, like top 20.
Yep.
And they came to us on Halloween. Everybody counted us out. We played against Justin Herbert, San Diego Chargers or the LA Chargers quarterback. He came in, we beat him on Halloween night, 30-10. Killed him.
There you go.
We had a great time that night when we was partying. I think my best college memory. Let me think. It might, you know what? It probably was my freshman year because you know your freshman year is the best time. I was with my friends. We had went to a family, not a family, a friend house party. You know, it
Yep.
was all of the football team. We were all there. Everybody was there. I think we partied till like 3, 4 in the morning. It
Dang.
did not stop. And then we came home. We were talking about it for days. A lot of things happened that night. I can't say over the phone, but
Obviously.
That's always the challenge when we ask the
yeah,
non-football related one is
yeah,
I can see this mental battle going on, being like, okay, what do I want to say here? What can I say?
Those
What can I not
no
say?
yeah.
what I will say though is I know you can't say it, but those must be the hard times where you have to get up like 8 o'clock in the morning for class, and then you just like went to bed 4 hours ago. Then you have practice after class.
We had practice the next morning. The next morning at 8 o'clock. So
Even better.
it was a hard time getting it. Everybody was hurt. Everybody was hurt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody.
You're probably getting there being like, oh my God, like I feel like
okay,
absolute shit right now. But last night was so much fun. But I feel like
Work,
shit right
work,
now.
Lorenzo,
work.
you know what I'm just picturing right now? Have you ever seen the TV show Blue Mountain State?
I've seen certain episodes. Yeah, I have.
Okay, that just reminds me of what like U.S. college is like down in the States. Just watching that TV show and some of the stuff that happens, it's like, oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
God.
exactly like that.
So my next question is, how is because you've played on three different NFL teams, how was your experience in the NFL?
It's a blessing, to say the least. I believe that everybody's dream is to play in the NFL, but just to have the ability to be on a team, and especially myself who made practice squad twice and then I was there with the team for a year, it's a whole different experience because not only do you get to experience the ins and outs, you get to see what really goes on in between in that building, in that organization, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people make comments about players in the league and they don't understand what really goes on. And it was crazy. It's like a war zone in there because you play on a Sunday and then throughout the week you see so many people banged up. You see people in slings sometimes and somehow, some way they ready to play Sunday, you know. The people that you connect with is amazing because you meet all types of superstars. You're talking to all types of superstars throughout the league and internationally. And then lastly, just strapping it up on Sunday because I've been active for one game and even the preseason games. Just having the ability to strap up and go out in front of these NFL stadiums, in front of these crowds with the atmosphere that they do have is nothing like it. Even sitting on the sideline when I was on practice squad, you to see the intensity and why everybody enjoys playing throughout
Yeah.
that time, you know. So I really did enjoy it.
I got to imagine like the first time that you're doing it where you're suiting up and you just grab your helmet and you see like an NFL logo on the side of it. You're like, this is mine. Like, holy shit. Like I'm actually here. Like I got to imagine that probably the first time there was, even if like you knew you could get to it, that's got to be something that I imagine is pretty surreal.
Yeah, it's a very surreal moment because if you think about it, everybody has a dream to do something. And when you have that dream and you finally get to that dream, it's almost like like you said, a surreal, like a wow, I cannot believe I'm here. This is
Yeah.
actually happening. You dreamt about it, you thought about it, you even probably might have wrote down about it or, put it into physical manifestation by playing and being like, oh yeah, this is me making a tackle in the fourth quarter or making a play in the fourth quarter. Like how you do when you play with yourself when you're younger and make up scenarios. When it actually happens, there's nothing like it, to be honest with you. Just grabbing the helmet, putting that uniform on, feel like the man. I can't even lie to you.
Absolutely. Now, one league that I'm going to say is probably there's not as much knowledge in Canada about just simply because these leagues have popped up. I'm going to say relatively recently in the sense of like in the past few years. Obviously, there was the AAF, the Alliance, which kind of existed for a short time and didn't last. Then there was the XFL, which went through multiple iterations before merging with the USFL. You played a few years in the USFL. with a good amount of success in the USFL. How was your time in the USFL, and what were some of the key things that were different about a league like that compared to the CFL, besides the obvious, like, you know, the field size, the rules, just in terms of that, how that league operates?
I would say when you started out, well, I got in the USFL when it was barely beginning, like when it was just it's his first year.
Yep.
And it was humbling because not that I'm an arrogant person, but when you come from anybody, when you come from playing in the NFL, right, and then you go into a spring league where at the time we were all staying in a hotel, our locker rooms were in a hotel, so you would walk to the hotel, get changed or get your stuff, and then walk over to the stadium and get ready for practice right across the street. And everybody played at the same stadium all year, right? So you go from an atmosphere like the NFL to the USFL, it was very humbling. But at the same time, at the end of the day, if you enjoy playing what you play or doing what you do, it all equivalates at the end of the day. So I enjoyed it. The next year, you know, of course, they made progress. It was better. But as a whole, it's a lot of people who might not have the same opportunity because you did at the first couple of years, you had a lot of people who came from smaller schools, didn't get a lot of looks coming out, or didn't have the same opportunities, and they come into this league for a chance. And everybody is a baller. Everybody is hungry. Everybody wants to get to the league or the CFL. Everybody wants that chance. So it's good competition. The last year I was in there, they started an upgrade, of course, because they merged. Now we have more financial support and everything, and a lot of bounce backs from the NFL came, right?
Yeah.
So their goal is to up, I guess the label of the league, right? The look of it, to bring more NFL bounce backs. Oh, we have this name, and then up the competition too. And then you go and play at the local stadiums, this, that, and the third. And I enjoyed that. It's a very good league to play in. I enjoyed it. You make a decent amount of money in 6 months, and it's good ball at the end of the day. You know, you're playing against people that used to be in the league that are just came from the league and might go back to the league. You know, some legend person here and there. So it was fun.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, yes.
I was just gonna say the funny thing that I just wanted to mention was, you'll see I forget who it was. There is one guy that was like a YouTube influence person that was off to the side. Then he went to go play in the league. There was a guy that was like a Amazon delivery.
Over time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Carter was asking who the player was.
I don't know. You know what was crazy is I know him by his Instagram, YouTube name. I don't know his real name.
Okay.
Destroying. They call him Destroying. I don't know his real name.
I will say though, because they did show some of the stuff like behind the scenes, like I will say he was a cocky person. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean. But what I was going to say was, like, there was another guy that was doing Amazon deliveries that still wanted that last kick at the bucket. And now, like, oh, you have someone sticking his head in your room behind you.
We got, y'all know Into?
Oh, yeah. Hello?
Best in the bid. He can't see the bid.
Oh, here's another one.
Can't see. Best
in the bid.
And so Sean Oakman.
Oh, there we go.
You need to take off that jersey. Facts.
Hey. Two things. First off, we're in first place right now, so at least I'm representing you guys right? With the hat.
I heard what you said. I hope you heard what you said. Right now.
Also, Mr. Oakman, just one thing. Sir? Did you guys know you guys are all in a video game?
Which one? I knew I was in the last NCAA that came out before.
Oh no. So
you guys are in Madden
Lorenzo
as well.
Burns and Oakman, you're still on Montreal's team if you download the team roster. Lorenzo's on it. And I'm sure so NCAA and Madden, people have created like the CFL team. So
Nelson Hakovich on Twitter. Nelson Hakovich, he's created all the teams, all the players and everything. So You guys should all be in there.
Let him know the names. I gotta go check out the roster. Last time
Yeah,
I checked,
I'll give him the code. I'll give him the code.
Also,
I was not on any roster.
Oh, he left the room, but I was gonna say, Oakman, the Argo fans miss you, but he left the room.
I'll let Nelson know if you're not on there. I'll tell him to up his game.
Here he go.
Best in the biz.
There you go.
You know what they call him over here? Interception.
Hey,
interception.
Best in the biz. Best in the biz.
There we go. Well, that was a fun surprise.
Well, you never know.
Yes, speakers. There we go.
There we go. We
Oh,
I can't say this has ever happened before, Rick.
Sean Oakman, man.
You like Montreal? Then we bring everything for you.
I will say before he signed with Montreal, I was kind of hoping that he would sign with Hamilton. Like, that guy's like 6'8", like he's some big. You can't miss him on the field.
He's ginormous. Ginormous.
Yes. There you go.
Okay,
where the hell were we, Rick?
Dude, you were gonna go ask your question number 6.
Yeah, I was about to ask. So the Birmingham Stowns, they had won. I want to say there was 3 championships consecutively, right? There was twice in the USFL and then once in the UFL after they had merged. Were you on all 3 of those teams?
I saw all 3.
And how was that? Being part of a three-peat, that's
cool.
not common.
It's not. No, it's not. It was cool though. It was cool. The first year, I didn't play that much. I played like special teams. It was still cool. Second year, I played more, but that was still cool. And the third year, it was like icing on the cake because I knew I was gonna leave after that year. So the third year, I was like, yeah, this is icing on the cake. This is why you're supposed to go out. But the coolest thing was that we're in the Hall of Fame in Canton for the first year because it's the first team to ever win in the USFL new startup league. That went into the Canton Hall of Fame, and then 3 years back to back. It hasn't been done really, or it's rarely done. So we got put in Ohio for that, man. So
there you go.
I'm happy we did that. Yeah.
I was about to say not much you can complain about there.
No, and I got some nice jewelry, man. So it was cool.
Absolutely,
It was cool.
Your hand got a little heavier, didn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So the next question is, when did you hear about the CFL?
You know what's crazy? I've always known about the CFL because of who my dad is, and he actually when he was playing, I guess he did a workout for BC.
Nice.
He knows, so he knows people in the CFL. He's trained people in the CFL. We personally know somebody that bounces back and forth from the CFL. So I've known it since I was in middle school. So I've known about it for a while. I've just never watched it until recently, till before I came up here, like maybe like a year before I came up here. And then I've always known about the CFL.
Absolutely. So, like for the CFL, what is kind of the biggest difference, like for your position as a defensive back, kind of with the Canadian game versus down south, whether that's conditioning, positioning, the waggle, maybe the size of the field? What do you find is the biggest adjustment?
I would say that at the end of the day, football is football, right? Some things kind of come back to its foundation. The biggest differences are, because I grew up playing American football my whole life, of course, and the length of the field, the width of the field, the waggle, of course, the fact that receivers can move up and down the left and right, lateral down the line. Yeah. The fact that receivers can come from one side all the way to another.
So just the motion.
The motion, back and forth with 3-4 people. You can't do that down south. The rouge, that was a little different for me.
Yeah.
The clock, that was different. Don't quote me on this, but I guess in the fourth quarter you have to play offense. Am I right on that? You don't do kickoffs after a certain amount of time?
No. Oh. So you're thinking of the,
I think I know what you're
if you kick a field goal, you can start off at your 40 instead of having them kick it off.
You can elect to keep it on the 40, but after a certain time, it has to be kicked off.
Yeah, it has to be kicked off. Okay.
I think it's within the last 3 minutes or something.
I believe that's what it is. I think it's at the 3-minute warning.
That was different. That last year that threw me off. That threw me off because I was ready to go on kickoff, and then all of a sudden they're talking about defense. So I'm like, what y'all talking about? We got to go kick off. Um, the Blowhorns in the stands. That's throws me off. Yeah, I ain't never heard that before. The Blowhorns, and then lastly
That's
the
a Montreal thing.
is
all
it?
the
Oh,
all the
I
horns.
guess
It's
it
actually
is.
banned in a lot of stadiums. The horns.
I heard that.
Yep.
I heard that. Um, the goalposts.
Yep.
That right there, that's a big adjustment because when you got a track on that goal line or you backpedaling and you think you got some and you just come face to face with that yellow friend right there and you just looking at the stars, that's something different right there. So
Well,
I think those were the biggest adjustments. But at the end of the day, when you get used to after a while you get used to and you realize, okay, it's just football. It's just
yeah.
football at the end of the day. Just a little longer, a little wider, you know.
I think it was Harris yesterday that mentioned that Charleston Rambo had a little had hit. I think I think he said it in either the preseason or in like training camp, whatever it was. He had an encounter with the goalpost in one of the practices or something. Yeah.
We have too personally. Some of my defensive back friends have had a couple encounters with that yellow friend in the middle of the end or the beginning of the end zone.
I could just imagine you sitting there trying to keep a straight face, but like laughing at the same time.
Oh yeah, it's hard, especially during film. Especially during film, when you see somebody run into it, all right, let me not try to laugh because it's a serious moment. You can't help it. You just have to chuckle inside. It's a funny sight to see. I can't even lie.
I do love how you just refer to it as the yellow friend.
Yeah, because it could be your friend, and then the next moment it could be your enemy.
There you go. No, that's fair. I think you have the next one here, Rick.
Yeah. So my question here is: are there any CFL or DB past, present, or that you admire or draw an inspiration for in your career?
To be honest, I don't have enough knowledge about the history of defensive backs up here, but I
That's
will
fair.
say that I've had, I guess you would call them family friends that have played up here who have gave me knowledge
Yeah.
on what to look for and how to play up here. So those people I give my respects to and I appreciate them because they have given me the knowledge to be successful in certain ways and grow in certain ways. But I will say this that the team that I have came on, the IWS, of course, the people that I do play with in the secondary, great players, and they've helped me get adjusted very quickly. Wes, Najee, Ento, of course, who just walked in. We got Ciante, just Mark, everybody, every Ruffin, Deontay, like everybody has contributed to me understanding how to get this job done, how to be successful up here.
Absolutely.
Carter, you had the next one.
Oh,
you
I
had
had
the
the
next one.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the upcoming rule changes coming in 2026 and 2027? And I had maybe a bit of an interesting way of doing this, just because I feel like, in general, most people's thoughts on them are, depending on the change, either yay, in the middle, don't really care too much, could go either way, or not a fan. So maybe we'll just kind of almost rapid fire them. Which ones you like, which ones you don't like, maybe which ones are in the middle. How do you feel about the change that is happening to the Rouge with the missing a field goal is no longer worth one?
That's understandable. I get why they did that because now it's you
I
miss a
agree.
field goal and you should not be rewarded for bad behavior. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
I do understand that. Now it makes it more competitive. Like, okay, we can't just miss it and miss it in the back of the end zone or they catching it. Like you have to focus in and make that. So
Yeah.
that's understandable. I get that one. I like that one.
Benches on the opposite sides of the field.
I love that one too. That's a
There
good
we go.
one because my first game that I started in, when we played Toronto, running from and this is my only reason. Running from the defensive bench all the way back and
Yeah.
all the way back, that's you already tired before the play start. So I do like that. I do like that. I agree with that one.
Automatic 35-second play clock.
that one I'm not really too uh vexed on. That's it is
In the
what it
middle
is. I don't Yeah, in the
doesn't
middle.
make a
I don't really
difference.
mind that one. Yeah, that's cool.
That's fair. Uprights at the back of the end zone.
I like that one.
You like that
I've
one?
not even I've seen a lot of murders go down as of recently, and I don't want that to go down anymore. So I like that one.
There you go. 15-yard end zone.
I like that one also. That's to our advantage.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm on
as
the,
a
I'm on the
defensive player, I
defensive
imagine.
side,
Yeah.
so yeah. So as long as you can shorten that for me, I ain't got to cover that much ground. I'm cool with that. That's
There you
that's fine.
go. And then the removal of the 55-yard line, going from 110 yards down to 100.
I guess that goes into play with the end zone because you have to shorten the end zone, and that takes an effect on 55. So,
Yeah,
I like that one also. It just goes hand in hand with that one.
that's fair. That's fair.
But I do understand the people that do say like they don't like it because I didn't grow up on the Canadian game,
Yeah.
so it's
I
not.
think it's more of just kind of it's nice seeing that 55 at the center of the field. It's a
Right,
Canadian
right,
field the second you see it. But
right.
so I understand why they're doing it, but there's definitely a part of me that misses it. But then again, I don't think I've ever watched a college or NFL game and being like, man, this game sucks, and the reason why is because there's no 55 on there.
Exactly,
So
exactly. It's
I think
football.
I'll live.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So the question is, what was the most challenging moment in your career, and how did you overcome it?
That's a good question actually. When I think about it, I think the most challenging thing in my career was, I would say, my first year in the NFL. I would say
Yeah.
because for anybody that's a big adjustment, and going from, and this is how it happens with a lot of players in college going to the NFL. You go from being a starter, right, which I was blessed enough to start for like 4 years at Arizona. You go from being a starter to being a backup and not even playing on Sundays, right? Not even being a contributor. And I think the hardest part that was for me is that I'm very competitive, correct? So for me to feel like I can't contribute to a team it frustrated me a little bit. But I think the biggest thing was that knowing that every day, because in the NFL, and it's the same way here, but in the NFL, you're playing against good talent, right?
Yeah.
Top notch talent, athletic freaks, right? Who also have the knowledge of the game, correct? Every day at practice is a game, right? So when you're not a starter, when you're not a number three guy or number two guy, every day when you put your cleats on and go on that practice field, you have to prove yourself, right? They're
Yep.
evaluating everything. I think that was the biggest adjustment for him because in college it's not as serious as that. College, your starters are kind of your starters, the twos are the twos, threes are the threes, right? In the NFL, every day you're working, you're working, you're working. You got to prove yourself. It's an interview spot. It's an interview spot. Whether you're going to be on the team, you're going to be cut, whether you're going to get up this week or you're going to be down this week. That was the biggest thing because you had to be consistent on a daily and weekly and monthly basis to
Yeah.
to be able to show that you deserve to be there and deserve to play.
Exactly. I mean, from what it sounds like from the guys that we've talked to that have had some experience in the NFL, it very much kind of sounds like the tryouts never end. The tryouts aren't just who makes that starting roster, but the tryouts are, if you're in practice, you're competing for a spot. As much as you're competing with this team. Whenever they're playing any games and you want to get wins against your opponents in that regard, the competition is consistent. It doesn't leave. So
All right.
yeah. So what advice would you give to young athletes that are aspiring to play professional football?
I would say this, and this was helped me. And it's a couple of things. It's number one, nothing in life is gonna be easy. Everybody's gonna whatever you choose to be, right? Like y'all probably one of the top podcasts in Canada or nationally, right? Or internationally.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna be easy. You have to be consistent, like back to my point, and compete or push yourself every day.
Yeah.
Anything you want and want to be successful in is going to be hard. So when it does get hard, you should welcome the challenge, because if you turn away from it, that's showing that you're not deserving. Everything is an interview, right? Everything is an opportunity. So number one is that embrace it. Nothing's going to be easy. Number two, understand the fact that there are people just like you or even hungrier than you, that just because you feel like you're doing enough doesn't mean you're doing enough,
Yeah.
right? Because there's kids who have less fortunate situations who are grinding or working 10 times harder than you and have to go to work after, you know,
Yeah.
take care of family or this and that, or some kids who are blessed enough to where they're in the top notch facilities and just getting the best treatment. You know, it all depends where you come from.
Yeah.
Number three, I think the most important thing I would say, or not the most important, but one of the most important things I would say is when it comes to these highs and lows, you cannot find satisfaction in football, because it's such a high and low sport that if you base your success off the highs and lows, you're never going to be happy.
Yeah.
So when you have a good moment, appreciate it and then move on. When you have a bad moment, learn from it and move on.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to stay kind of even keel, because if you're always going up and down with the emotions, you're never going to be consistent, and it's
Yeah.
hard for athletes, right? Because they don't understand that if you're with the highs, you waste so much energy that when a low moment happens, it brings you so far down, you cannot bounce back from it. It's like hard for a lot of people to bounce back from it.
Yeah.
And I would say the last thing I would say is that at the end of the day, we're all blessed with certain gifts. But when it comes down, when it's time for you to strap it up and step between those like white lines, whatever motivates you or makes you want to go out there and play, remember that and be confident. And what carries people throughout the way of this journey is your confidence and you being a dog. What I
Yeah.
mean by that is if you have no confidence, but you're a dog, that means you want to get after it. But you don't have the confidence you're going to make the play, it's not going to work. But
Yeah.
if you have the confidence, but if you're not the dog, then you don't have enough grit to get the dirty work done. When you have both, because you're gonna run into a lot of confident people or a lot of talented people, and if you don't have that consistently or throughout your career, you're not gonna push yourself forward. I know what's helped for me is I'm not the biggest guy, I'm not the fastest, and I'm not the quickest, and I'm not the strongest.
Yeah.
What I have recognized that when I was confident, that when I was a dog, and that's what's helped me being a dog throughout my career, just being gritty, that that's what football is, you know, because everybody's big, everybody can run, everybody can play. You know, what separates you is the heart. So that's what I would tell young athletes. And that last part is going to carry you a long way, because no matter what, who's ever in front of you, you know that you can make a play you can make a play and that you can get it done. So
Absolutely. And so I think we just got probably just one last question here, which was a bit of a fan kind of oriented question. What was the weirdest or strangest thing that you've ever had to sign? And, or maybe what was the strangest encounter that you've had with a fan? I think we had, from some of the guys we had on, I think somebody said they had to sign a car engine. Rick, I think you mentioned that someone had
This year they brought a dresser drawer and a coffee
dresser
maker.
drawer.
oh yeah, I've never had to sign something like that. Never. I've never experienced. I think the weirdest thing I've ever had to sign, when I think about it, was a makeup case from a little girl. It was like a little makeup case. That was probably
Oh,
the weirdest. Yeah, that's it.
that's
I
certainly a
can't
new
think
one.
of anything. Yeah, a makeup case. But that's it. That's all I can think of.
I see, I see. And have you ever had like a strange encounter in public or whatever where someone's approached you and because I mean, like sometimes with some people, they kind of get approached in a very normal sense. Hey, I see a game. Can I get a picture? But then I think with some instances, it's kind of being a little bit more less formal. And as I can imagine, it can also be difficult sometimes, especially if you're traveling. Like, let's say you're in the airport and you got to make a connection flight and I need you to sign this, so I
I don't
imagine
know.
that.
You know what? I haven't had any weird
That's
interactions with
good.
anybody.
That's good.
I'm pretty mellow. I'm pretty mellow myself, so I'm kind of just like to my spot, chill, stay out the way. So no, I haven't had any weird interactions
Well, that's
or
good.
months. Yeah.
And hopefully it stays that way. So I think that's pretty much almost all that we got. So if there's anyone that you would like to shout out, anything you'd like to promote before we wrap this up.
Yeah, I would like to shout out First of all, everybody that I've worked with, played with, Les, Najee, Enzo, Ciante, Mark, everybody, Rough, everybody that showed me the way. Then I have a brother. Yeah, hopefully I can check him out. His name is Simeon Burns. Plays arena football in the States.
Oh
Great
yeah.
ball player. Check him out if you can. Great dude, great player. If you can holler at him. And then my pops. Shout out my pops, shout out my mom. That's pretty much it.
Absolutely. Well, firstly, thank you to everyone who viewed at home. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching, and most importantly, thank you, Lorenzo, for taking your time. We very much appreciate you coming by the show.
Appreciate y'all for having me again.
Absolutely.
And it's just gonna make those next 2 weeks more interesting.
Oh yeah, make sure you wear that too. I want you to wear everything tight and fast.
There we go. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.
Touchdown!